Hello, dear friends. Here we are. One other day, 21 days of inner empowerment in redefining money. Yes, it's our series on the book Money by Emmanuel through the medium Chico Xavier. Unbelievable, right? Here we are. This is day 2 of 21 days. And it's a new journey. It's a journey of inner strengthening. Why? Because we are redefining and understanding once and for all what money is all about. Emmanuel, through Chico Xavier, wrote this book in 1986. And as he says in the preface of it, he says, yes, you may think, dear reader, that the title of this book is shocking. Yes, this book was written to satisfy the requests of many friends. And at the end of it all, he says that money is also from God. Yes, and we've studied it all. We've asked ourselves in the first day, what is our feeling of money? What is our relationship? And in one day, we have already verified that money correlates to energy, and the consequences of having money and using it have emotional implications, social implications, and thus our possible addiction to the need of thinking we need money. But what is money? Today we're going to talk about this. It's the first chapter. This book has a preface and 20 chapters. And this is chapter 1, titled Money. Emmanuel, as a wonderful educator, brings to us the foundation. What is money? He gives us the tip. Money is also from God. But what is it exactly, right? We want to know. We need money. When we incarnate, it's one of the lessons. Learn how to deal with this energy in our lives. Before we continue, let's say hi to our beautiful community. What a joy to be here together, right? Hello, Leonor. Hello, dear Jussara as well. And Adilson. Rihanna and family, right? Hello, Sunshine. How are you? Melissa and Andrea. Hello, friends. And Marcio Lee. Welcome, welcome. Lea Severo and Patricia. How are you, Patricia? Solange and Rita de Cássia. You ready, friends? What a journey, huh? If we just knew what money is, we could probably solve a lot of problems in this world. And that's exactly what Emmanuel is going to bring to us. Money is much more than the eyes can see. Let us begin. Chapter 1, Money. Believe it or not, Chico Xavier psychographed a book titled Money with a chapter titled Money in the book Money. And it says, hello Valeria and hello Tanya. Money cannot buy heaven, but it can generate sympathy on earth when used for tasks of goodness. Money is unable to buy goodwill. However, it sows the benefit and contentment of living when our souls remains directed towards divine inspiration. Money has no exchange value after death. However, it does sustain general progress if our spirit is centered on elevated goals. Money is not the absolute factor for joy or happiness, but it can be the remedy for a patient, the drop of milk for the helpless little child, the shelter for the elderly, relegated to the cold night, and the silent help for the homeless pilgrim. Money is unable to generate light. However, it can extend the source of ideas of consolation and love, in which many souls who are thirsty for peace will quench their thirst. Money is not the basis of harmony, but on many occasions it can restore tranquility to discouraged paternal hearts and unhappy domestic nests every time our feeling favors true solidarity. Do not let money steal your heart, so it rules your life like a despot. Usefully manage money by understanding and cooperating under the influence of the law of brotherhood that brings us together. Let us always remember that Jesus blessed the widow's penny given to the temple's public coffer. Employing money for goodness, we will convert it into a heavenly collaborator in all earthly situations and problems. Pocketbook, to be put it in the pocket and to read it before you take your money out of your pocket and use it in any occasion. Yes, this book can be acquired at the website of the United States Spiritist Federation, www.spiritist.us, www.spiritist.us, and you can get to buy your copy. Okay, Rudy is saying, money allow me to purchase the book Money, 2 copies. Rudy, yes, friends, life is much better when we laugh. And that's a good one, Rudy. Thank you. Hello, Sol and Tanya. Yes, friends. So, apparently, it's easy to write sentences like this, right? But I remember a friend of mine who is a scientist and became a spiritist. And one day, he got a tiny pocketbook by Joana de Angelis that was not translated yet. And then he said, let me study this book. There was like a sentence per page. And then he made an exercise. Let me try to make short statements like this, affirmations like Joana de Angelis. And he said, for the first time in my life, I realized how hard it is to really put those ideas together. They're not trivial. As much as in this book, short, each chapter is very concise, but it's like concentrated juice. In a tiny spoon, you can actually make a whole gallon of juice. That's what these chapters are. These chapters are concentrated. So that's why we need to study together. And that's exactly what he proposes, that we study it. He said, money cannot buy heaven. And he talks about there's a pattern, right? In this very chapter. What we can and what we cannot buy with money. For example, we can buy a book while reincarnated. Question: when you're discarnated and you want to read a book, how do you buy it? Where do you read it? Seriously, because it's a concern. If you love books, I love books too. Imagine in the spiritual realm. Where can you find books like that? Because on the earth, whether you're good or bad, if you have money, you can buy books. But in the spiritual realm, it does not depend on money. It depends on credit. Oh, but not financial credit. No, it's about a level of evolution. Have you ever heard of good books in the lower zones? No. It only exists in the places where we cherish reading and studying good books. So you see how fortunate we are from having money to buy these books. Now, how many people buy books, don't read the books? We discarnate, we're going to be willing to read the very books we never opened. Like Mentor Joseph told me a tale the other day. He said, it's a true story, Vanessa. It's a true story. He said, in our spiritist movement, we've created this beautiful habit of reading books. It's one of the most beautiful movements of soul enrichment. Spiritism, yes. Because we are a community that are in the habit of studying and reading, but we've come to an extreme, he said, that we buy books, we acquire books, but we keep them on our shelves. And one day there was a lady, he said, she used to buy the books, go to the spiritist centers and events, and put them on the shelves. But she was so busy, she wasn't able to read them actually. But she said, you know, one day I will, one day I will, one day I will. And one day she discarnated and wasn't able to actually read all those books. And the books stayed, and she went back to the spiritual home. And she was given the opportunity of being received in a spiritual hospital. And she was there, and she's like, you know, I'm so used to books, and I would love to read books. And she said, there is one in particular that I was meaning to read when I was incarnated, and I never made it. And she came to know in the spiritual realm that very book had a particular price in the spiritual realm, that it was in the library of the hospital, but only those who had a particular amount of our bonus were able to go there and borrow the book to read. Literally, it's not trivial. So that's why we cherish this beautiful opportunity of studying these books now, of opening them, going through them. And if you look at books that are not being used, sit down immediately and read them, because that's energy. This represents also energy. As Chico Xavier learned with Emmanuel, the messages are of so much light that it has its own emissions regarding the thought process that they boost in each and every person. Money, as Emmanuel says, cannot buy heaven, but can generate the sympathy when used for the good. How important it is to use money to generate kindness, to generate sympathy, to generate love. One of the best gifts ever we can give. Books like this one. A book like this is universal. And you can give to anyone, and it's going to generate sympathy. So think about this. Remember when we talked about this inner relationship with money being the end result of this search to be loved and appreciated? We conjugate having money with having power, social influence, appreciation, approval, social appreciation, money. But in reality, when we have, even if it's a little bit, it's an opportunity for us to open doors for others who are in need. And not only the poor, but sometimes it's a child, sometimes a friend, sometimes it's a family member. I know a true story of a couple. The wife needed some money, but she was shy about asking her husband for the money that she needed. And then one day, the husband, not knowing of her need for a particular amount of money, he came to her and said, you know, I'm thinking of donating $1,000 for X non-profit organization. And it was precisely the amount that she needed to do something else. Something that for her, the husband was like minor, for her was vital. And he could have given to her if communication were a little better. These are the facets of our lives. Sometimes we have precisely what somebody else needs, but we don't know that they need. And why don't we know? Because we do not reach out to them. The word reach out means coming from us to others. We reach out of us, but to do this movement, we really need to know what other people's needs are. Starting from the ones that are closest to us, right? And here we have our dear Tanya Stewart sharing a story. Remember the story about Dr. Inácio Ferreira in the spiritual world asked our beloved Chico Xavier to tell his widow Aparecida not to give out his book to others because he will need time to materialize then in the astral level, so till that he will need to use his library in his physical house. Exactly. That's one of the thank you, Tanya, for bringing that about. Exactly. So that's a good story for us to refer to this very, not taking for granted this opportunity of having money and the access to what money can buy, like books, even books. Hello, Aiden. Hello, Aiden. Hello, Katia. Can we materialize good books, Melissa, in the spiritual realm? Well, that's a good question. Apparently, we need some form of credit to actually be able to have access to books in the spiritual realm. Read all of Andre Louis' books. Good books are not trivial. And we have all these books. Another perk of being incarnated at this very time on the earth. Throughout this chapter, he's going to say what we can and what we can't buy with money. Money is unable to buy goodwill. How many employers think that just by offering the salary, the employees are going to have goodwill? No, not necessarily. That, parents think that their money is going to make their children be good-willed regarding the multiplication of it in their family. No, it's not a given. He says, but money can sow the benefit and the contentment of living when our soul remains directed towards divine inspiration. Think about Mark Zuckerberg and his wife when they had their daughter Max, and how beautiful they realized in her first year that they were gonna channel a great amount of their fortune to boosting the research and these efforts to finalize this era of diseases on the earth. What a mind! What a mind inspired by God, because we're not supposed to be under the gloves of diseases on earth. Higher planets don't have diseases. How do you end diseases on earth? By first aiming at it. And some people laughed and said, it's an impossible goal. But for us spiritists, in our science, we understand it's not only possible, it shall be a goal that we need to cherish. And when you see young minds like that, aiming at investing money on that goal, they are literally inspired by God. They are literally showing the benefit and contentment of living on their souls are directed by divine inspiration. We're very fortunate for having these beautiful souls on the earth, boosting that opportunity for us. They are using their money inspired by God. Money did not give them this goodwill. But they were divinely inspired to use this money to be willing to commit to the investment of ending diseases on the earth. Money has no exchange value after death. Yeah. People believe there is, even those who believe sometimes in the afterlife, they resist this understanding sometimes. And I know people who know that life is going to go on spiritually and money is going to stay, but they believe that the consequences of having had money, the social influence, etc., is going to continue. And André Luiz in the book No Solar told us precisely that that is an illusion. Even if you have social impact, professional status, it's going to stay here. Because in the afterlife, we're not about the certificates we have, the degrees we have, the money we had. It's about what we are. You want a therapeutic question, right? I do too. And the first therapeutic question for us is precisely that. Do you think you still have this illusion, some form of illusion, that in the afterlife you're gonna have this network of people backing you up in your whims? And I'm asking myself the same question. Who am I? Because that's all that I have. Who are you? Forget about the titles. Forget about the nationality. Let's get naked now, not physically, spiritually. Naked. No titles. No nothing. Just you. And you're going back to the spiritual realm now. You're entering the doors there as if you were discarnated, in the sense of what are you bringing? with you. No purse. No titles, no purse, no positions. It's not about being a mother and a father, because they're temporary roles. It's not about anything else but what we are. Who are we then? Who are you? It's not about being Brazilian, American, Colombian, Australian, whatever we are in this life, in the afterlife. It's not the essence. So who are you? You go there, you meet new people, and you say, hello, I am an immortal spirit that was named Vanessa in my last reincarnation. I'm meeting you for the first time. And I am a neuroscientist? No. A psychologist? No. President of a spiritist? No. And so who am I? Mother of Virginia? Wife of Carlos? No. Okay. So who am I? Who are you? Who am I? Leia Severo. Thank you, Leia. Moral values. So can we outline now? Can we outline now who we are? Rita Di Cassi is saying, I am the treasures that I have in my heart. Andrea Torres is saying, I love this knowledge because it makes me free to be where I belong to. Exactly. So who am I? We need to answer to this question. It's vital. I am a divine being of love and light. But everybody is too, right? But what else that defines you? Is there a particular virtue that defines you more today? Yeah? Like, for example, kind. I am a kind person, let's say, if you feel like you're kind. Of all virtues, I'm persistent. You know, I've been very determined. That's one of my virtues. I'm just bringing ideas for us. It's very important that we fill in this blank. Because in the study of money, we're coming to know that money is a tool that is used by us who have many virtues. Melissa is saying, a human being progress, a valid answer, exactly. Yes. But knowing that we're beyond the temporary conditions, right? This study here is saying, money sustains the general progress if our spirit is centered on elevated goals. Have I been using money for elevated goals? Oh my gosh, what kind of question is this? No, but it's a fair question. Money does not have any use in the spiritual realm, but here it shall be used specially for elevated goals. What are elevated goals? What are they? What are the elevated goals here? We need to know. In the book Action and Reaction, we're going to see how some spirits who are really attached to money in the spiritual realm, they can even feel like touching money. There are many books by Andrea Lewis that show to us and portray spirits who actually, they feel like they are touching gold, but for the superior spirits, they can see they are touching this mental energy. It's almost like a mud that for them is gold. It's the mental images. So attached. Have I been used my money for elevated goals, what would it be to use money for elevated goals? What would it be? What would it be? We think only Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and others are supposed to use their money just because of the amount of money that passed through their hands. But Jesus told us it's not about the quantity. It's about the use we make of it. The widow, she had one and she donated. Elevated goal. What are the elevated goals? What is it? Saul is saying, I'm a human being trying to be better than before. Yep, that's it. Money is not the absolute factor for joy or happiness, though many people think it is. But it can be the remedy for a patient, the drop of milk for the helpless little child, the shelter for the elderly, and the silent help for the homeless. Friends, it does not buy joy or happiness, but it can be a relief. So money is also sacred. Today, the feeling is the sacredness in using money properly. Today in this chapter 1, if we could summarize in one statement, not trying to simplify and reduce Emmanuel's teachings, but just to have an educational tool for us, this chapter is about how holy money can be and how we shall use it more wisely, knowing that it's a vessel of opportunities for growth and progress, of brotherhood, of solidarity. Money is this energetic vessel through which we can reach out to others too. And we can reach out by illuminating ourselves when we buy books like this. Right? Thank you, Katya. Yeah, Mentor Joseph is asking questions that literally go to the core of ourselves. Emmanuel, as a wonderful educator, he's inspiring us to this inner transformation, this inner empowerment. In this chapter, we're making peace with money. We're leaving this zone of conflict that we have been cherishing for many lives. When we go from the extreme of abusing money because of its impact on power and social influence, to pushing it away and rejecting just because we think it's evil. Money is not evil. Emmanuel said in the foreword, money is also from God. Remember, it's one of the elements of the universe. Matter is also one of the elements of the universe. In the Spirit's book, we got to know of it. So we need to make peace with it for many reincarnations. Can you imagine yourself how many reincarnations we have lived in this polarity, the polarity of this conflict, going from abusing the use of money to denying the importance of money, and from one to the next just enhancing the conflict. And Emmanuel says, hold on, let's put a stop, because money is also from God. So our conflict is little by little dissolving, and we're making peace with it. We're going to look at money from a different angle and saying it's sacred. It's as sacred as a piece of bread. It's as sacred as a book. It's as sacred as our physical body. We shall not accumulate. We shall not deny its importance. We shall use it wisely. Scale 0 to 10. Where do you think you are today, February 4th, 2017, regarding the use of money? Do you think you are abusing it? 10. Or do you think you are denying its importance? 0. Where do you think you are in this scale, 0 to 10? Abusing money, 10, or 0, denying its importance? Where do you think you are? And don't tell me, please, but let us think about it together. Where are we? Can you feel you're reconciling with it? Knowing that money is not an entity per se? That money is a tool like fork, knife, and spoon. Money is a tool. Can we feel it? Very important. Money is energy, Tanya is saying. Exactly. Money is unable to generate light, but it can extend the source of ideas of consolation and love, in which many souls who are thirsty for peace will quench their thirst. Exactly. God bless money that made this book possible. God bless money that made the places where we are living in possible. Right? Adilson sharing with us, over these years, Vanessa, through the spirit studies, I'm little by little reconciling my relationship with money, and for that I have eternal gratitude. One of the books that helped me regarding improving this relationship was Jesus in the Home by Neil Lewis, Chico Xavier. You're right, that book is phenomenal, and it really brings us tools in that regard. I agree. Thank you for sharing this reminder, Adilson. You're right. In these books by Chico, by the many spirits through Chico, we have opportunities to heal our souls, especially reconcile our relationship with money. Do an exercise this day. Look at the bills of money, the coins, your credit card, and look at them as if you're looking at a knife that cuts the bread, as a spoon that gives you soup, as a fork that gives you a piece of a delicious meal, healthy meal. That's money, a tool, sacred. May we use it wisely. So let us repeat to ourselves as an affirmation, money is also from God. Emmanuel's words. Let's repeat it. It's an affirmation for us to reconcile. Money is also from God. 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 And the beauty of it all, is that our dear Ben Franklin, who is a spiritist spirit and has helped bring the spiritist teachings. Look at the prolegomena of the Spirit's book, which is completing 160 years of its publication. This year, on April 18th, Franklin is also in the $100 bill of our dollar. And that's not by chance. There's no coincidence. Oh, Vanessa, but that's... No. Let's not forget what Emmanuel said. God is the one that rules the world. God is the one that rules the world. It's also a way for us to reconcile. Whenever I look at that bill, and it's not easy to find one like this, right? $100, $100 bill, and I see Franklin's picture, and I remember the Prolegomena of the Spirit's book by Kardec. It makes me feel, wow. The same man who has his face here in this dollar bill, this $100 bill, is the one that helped in a teamwork effort bring these teachings that illuminate lives. It's a stimulus for us to reconcile with money. Not to be willing to be bathed in money, but to be at peace and saying, if I don't have it as much as I thought I needed, it's because I don't need that much. And if I have more than I probably thought I needed, it's because I need to make better and wiser decisions about this much money that I have at hand. Melissa is sharing with us, money is part of God's energy and is a sacred trust to be used wisely for both ourselves and the good for all. Money is a stream of flowing energy, and it circulates the entire planet. Today's affirmation, money is also from God. Thank you, Melissa, for the breakdown. And that's what it is. So we know we teach our children from the get-go. Like I learned with Mentor Joseph to tell Virginia, remember, we're temporarily butlers of God's things. So we need to ask God, can I buy this now? Should I buy it? And think of those who do not have anything. Right? We really need to ask this question because God gives us temporarily some money to be used, but not only for ourselves. That's selfishness. And he says more, money is not the basis of harmony, but on many occasions it can restore tranquility to discourage paternal hearts and unhappy nests every time our feelings favor true solidarity. You remember the story of the woman, right? Who knocked at the door of a bakery in France at Kardec's time. And her husband had passed away. She had children to take care of. She couldn't take care of immediately by having a job at a time when women were not the providers. And the children were really, really, really hungry. So she knocked at the baker's door and said, can you give me this loaf of bread? And he said, no. Like many of us. We say no, as if we are the owners of money. We're not the owners. God lent us temporarily whatever we have. And not only for ourselves, but to give it away. And he said, no. And then get lost. He turned his back, went on the inside of the bakery. And then she was desperate. Can you imagine? Your children are hungry. There's no other way. Society is still so selfish. People cannot reach out to each other. They always have second thoughts when helping others. Like, why don't they work? Why are they begging for money? And then she was desperate. She stole the loaf of bread and ran to her house. But the baker was so merciless. He ran and called the police and said, go after this woman. She stole my bread. And the police knocked at the door. They're going to arrest her in front of the kids. And nobody was going to explain to them what actually happened. She was going to be looked bad. It was the worst example ever. So she was desperate. She went to her bedroom and said, "Please, sir, officer, wait for me a second, please." She closed the door of her bedroom. And they waited and waited and waited and waited. They couldn't wait any longer. They knocked on the door. Nothing. So they opened the door. And they saw her dead. She killed herself. Kardec, when he came to know the story, he evoked the spirit and the help of the superior spirits to ask, what is this? What is the sense of this social drama? A real drama. Lives were taken. What about these kids? Who are going to take care of them? Is this woman at fault? And to our surprise, we've come to know the baker is majorly responsible for the suicide of this woman, because he pushed her to the abyss of desperation. And the mentor said she quit life not as a quitter, but she actually committed suicide to protect her children from the dishonor of thinking that she did something wrong. She was concerned about the moral aspects. And the verdict is that the baker was at fault. Not saying that she should have committed suicide, no, but he was co-responsible. Can you imagine if I have a piece of bread and I don't give it to somebody and they quit their lives and we don't know of it? Is it possible that we're withholding goods that are minor for us but can be life-changing for others? Think about people who do not have a pen. I remember visiting the northeast of Brazil, and this elderly woman showing me a notebook where she was learning the ABC, and I saw the handwriting in this book and asked her, if you're learning how to write, whose handwriting is this? Because it's such a beautiful handwriting of somebody who already knows how to write. And she said, yes, the teacher. But the teacher writes on your notebook? And she said, well, we don't have books, so the teacher has to write on our books, so we have a textbook. And I asked her, does your teacher have to write the lessons in all and each one of your books? How many students does she have? More than 20. Where do they know the textbooks? We don't know. But is it a public program? Yes. A state-funded one? Yes. But where are the books? We don't know. Yes. Politicians deviating the money and lives being wasted, having to work 3 times harder to fulfill a single gap. One textbook. You have this book money? You know, was it easy for you to acquire it? Think about people who are elsewhere in this world and do not have an easy time acquiring this book. Acquiring books, as Joseph said tonight, is not trivial. It's a concession by God. If you're buying these books, God is allowing you and I to have it. What is the use we're making of it? Only to ourselves or to the benefit of all? Finally, do not let money steal your heart. The beautiful educator. So it rules your life like a despot. Money is not a separate entity. It's a tool. usefully manage money by understanding and cooperating under the influence of the law of brotherhood that brings us together. So he's giving a tip. He said, look at money as a tool, like fork, a knife, right? Like an iPhone. It's not evil or good in itself, but it's an instrument. So, oh Lord, may this money be an instrument of yours by the good use I make of it. Right? Where there is hunger, let us bring food. Where there is any lack, let us bring abundance through the better use of the money and the acquisitions in life. St. Francis, inspiration, making money a channel of progress. If we have 1, 2, 3, a quarter or no quarter, it can change lives. Let us always remember that Jesus blessed the widow's penny given to the temple's coffer. Employing money for goodness will convert it into a heavenly collaborator in all earthly situations and problems. So today we wrap up this beautiful therapeutic conversation by telling money, you are my heavenly collaborator. Shall we work together? Shall we bring light and love to everyone that we encounter? And let's share. Let's share. Because share is care, right? Share is care. Let us use money. And the mantra of today is, money is also from God. Money is also from God. Money is also from God. I am at peace with money because it is also from God. How about that? Breathing in and out and feeling at peace because money is also from God. Whether having 1 or 1,000,000, it's also from God. A hug of gratitude, right? Yes, Leia Severo, it's our mantra now. Money is also from God. And Emmanuel saying, let us transform it into our heavenly collaborator. Okay? A big kiss and a hug of gratitude. We're gonna come back at 11 p.m. this next day with studying money. Emmanuel extends this study to another level. He redefined it today, but then he's gonna study and break it down in unprecedented ways. What a revolution, making peace with the energy of money. Thank you, friends.